By this time tomorrow, the joint committees of the National Assembly on Electoral Reform will be sitting for a retreat to consider the report submitted by the Technical Committee of NAS on election matters. The committee is alleged to have dropped some proposals that certain critics consider very important. Joining us now for reactions on electoral reform are Jake Epelle, Executive Director, ALBINO Foundation, and LOIS, CHINEDU, Program Manager, Nigeria Women's Trust Fund. Good to have you.
Same here.
Yes. Now, yes, thank you very much. Now, finding out that some of the aspects that you put forward were dropped at this stage. Okay, I'll direct my question to Jake Epelle of the ALBINO Foundation. I'm assuming you're representing the side of special needs, people with special needs, disability. From what I understand, you are concerned that the aspects concerning their voting, their capacity to vote, was dropped. What aspect specifically was put forward that has been discarded or put to one side?
Well, thank you for having me. There's a particular clause in the previous Electoral Act that they are trying to amend. And that clause says that INEC may accommodate persons with disability. From all the legal opinion that I've gathered, INEC can actually wriggle out of that and they will not be held accountable. And I want to say that INEC has been very fair to the community of persons with disability. And I'm here to represent the entire community of persons with disability, not just the ALBINO Foundation. So that particular clause have not been factored into the new document that they are working on. And there were other submissions that we made, things like priority voting, accessibility. Most of those important clauses that we submitted, I don't think they've been factored in. I'm in touch with the office of the DSP, who has been working with us on this. We took the office, and we carried them along in all of the submissions that we made. And unfortunately, it looks like they are going to drop most of those vital clauses that we introduced in the bill. And I think that is disheartening. Unfortunately, I'm not in the country, but I'm coming in this weekend, and we want to see, we are appealing to National Assembly, the chairman that received our presentation, to please intercede on our behalf to ensure that these clauses are enshrined in the new Electoral Act. Otherwise, the entire process will be exclusive and not inclusive. I also want to lend my voice to what my sister is here for, that women needs to also be carried along, All
right, we will get, let's get there. Bele, she's here, so don't speak for her. Let her speak for herself. Lois, glad to have you join us. Well,
good to be here.
Good, fantastic. I see you're laughing. He was already speaking for you, but I wanted you to speak for yourself. All right, the proposal on reducing the charge for things like getting their forms. The talk is that it's quite expensive, it's quite exorbitant, and that may rule out people like women, talking about inclusiveness, the youths, and then again, the PWDs. What's your sense of that?
Well, right from time, the issue has always been that women do not have the financial backing to participate in elections. And we also know that they're already benchmarked for campaign funds, as has been highlighted in the Electoral Act. And for us, we only included some sections in Section 87, subsection 2, to state that political parties should not force, or political parties should not, put in measures for disqualification and nomination of candidates based on the financial backings. So, for example, we are specific to say for positions of councillorship, it should be the benchmark of 100,000 naira, which is something that is quite affordable by a lot of people. We also said for the position of chairman, you understand, it should be 200,000. And we went further to say for the position of even a president, it shouldn't be sold for more than 5 million naira. This is because we understand that during the last elections, we had that position going for as much as 45 million naira. So we are saying that the political or the electoral process should not be monetized in such a way that, the marginalized groups, in this case, women, people with disabilities and youth, are not able to afford it. And we are a bit offended. We also are a bit sad that this particular aspect, which for us is a critical issue for women's political participation, is not being considered.
Okay, we only have a very short time. I wonder if you can add to what you're saying and say, why do you think this particular very important aspect has been set aside?
Ordinarily, we understand the position of power play. We already understand that, because we understand that if this happens, then it gives a lot of women the opportunity to come out and participate. It gives a lot of persons with disability the opportunity to come out and participate. Remember that we are coming from a patriarchal system where we already have a lot of men who have already advanced and have what it takes to get loans. For women, we are still carving that niche. Making it very expensive at this point in time, it's also going to be a challenge and will further reduce the opportunities that should be provided for this group of people.
All right, Lois and Epelle, we'll keep both of you on pause. We're going to get back after this short timeout. I will continue the discussion. Stay with us. All right, glad to have you join us again. This is still News Day on Arise News, and we have Jake Epelle, Executive Director, ALBINO Foundation, and LOIS CHINEDU, Program Manager, Nigerian Women Trust Fund. This is to you, Jake. In the event, because you said you've spoken with DSP, DSP, of course, will mean Deputy Senate President, because DSP also means, talks about the police. So let's be clear on that. You said you've spoken with him, you people carried him along. I am thinking, in the event that these things are not included eventually in the reform of the electoral law, what will be your recourse? What would you do? How would you try to achieve your aim or your purpose?
Okay, I didn't speak directly with the DSP, the Deputy Senate President. Okay. I spoke with the Chief of Staff, who is a mentor to me, okay. Dr. Tibe. And we're working both behind the scene and within the scene to ensure that this our submission is enshrined. We're not giving up. Like I was talking to my sister, we can't give up. We cannot claim that these things will not be considered. Yeah. They will be considered, and we're positive about it. And in the event where the outcome of the retreat that they are doing this weekend, we still have a chance, because it will come back to the House, and we're going to engage everyone that we know to make sure that the provisions that we are advocating for will eventually see the light of the day. So we can't give up. I'm very optimistic. I believe that we'll be given the chance that we deserve.
Okay, and to you, Lois, again, we just want to be clear on what the issues are. It says all proposals on women's political participation were not taken. So what were these proposals?
Okay, so apart from that of nomination, we also included some sections, that's on section 31 of subsection 1 in the Electoral Act, that political parties should be mandated to ensure that when conducting elections, that's either indirect primaries or direct primaries, women, persons with disabilities and youths are carried along. And for us, that's a bin. We even made an option to say at least 50% of both genders. And where this is not possible, it's only where 2/3 of, the genders are different. But I'm surprised that that's also something that was not considered. And for us, it only shows that there's still a need for us to continue with advocacy. We already have highlighted our 10 points agenda that will be taken forward for the retreat. And we are believing that something positive should be coming out of it.
Sorry, for the sake of clarification, Lois, when you say carried along, what do you have in mind?
We are saying 50% of both genders. That's the criteria. So we are saying 50%. Where you have people as delegates, we should have at least 50% of women, 50% of men. We are not asking for anything less. When it comes to, candidacy, we are also asking for 50%. And we are saying political parties need to ensure that this is done, because this is the only way you're giving women the viable opportunity for them to participate equitably with, the other gender. And then we are also of the belief that if this does not work, it means that we need to carry on further advocacy with political parties, especially because the principle of, individual candidacy doesn't work right now in Nigeria. So since political parties are the only gateway, then it means that the advocacy for political parties to ensure inclusion needs to continue.
All right, Lois, one would have thought that 50 may have been a high level, that you may have made it something like 40, then you graduate. But, all right, I mean, who says you can't get what you're asking for? All right, thank you so much, Lois, CHINEDU, and Epelle. All right. Thank you. We thank both of you for being on Newsday.